Hey, welcome back to my cancer vlog. Today we're talking about why I chose a lumpectomy over a mastectomy. And I'm speaking with Monica Herald, who is a certified shaman and a Reiki master.
Hi.
Hi.
How are you doing?
I'm doing great.
You just had surgery, right?
I did.
How are you feeling?
So I'm feeling great. The folks at Sloan Kettering did an amazing job as always. The recuperation period is going as planned, so I'm on track, doing well.
Awesome.
Yay.
What does your tattoo have to do with your lumpectomy?
Okay, so if you could check out my tattoo, it's actually a good story. Have you ever heard the joke about the kid who goes in to talk to his parents and he says, "Mom, Dad, I've got brain cancer." And they say, "Oh no," and he says, "No, I'm just kidding. I'm just gay." She hasn't heard the joke. Okay, so awesome. So you get that sense of what it's about, right? And I found out that I could do the reverse situation with it. My dad always told me that he would kill me if I ever got a tattoo. So I got one right under my sleeve so he wouldn't be able to see it. But the day that I told him that I had breast cancer was the same day he saw my tattoo, and poking out. And so it was great because he was like, "Hey, Dad, I've got breast cancer and a tattoo," and he didn't even focus on the tattoo. Like, he didn't even notice that I said the word tattoo, It was just like, it was a perk of the cancer, once again. Yes. And at the end of the day, I also got to talk to him and to others about what it means to me. And this is all about a fireball inside a little dude who is meditating. And to me, it represents my intuition, which has been guiding me through most of my life the past couple of years and guided me to make the decision of a lumpectomy instead of a mastectomy. And that was, many of you know, I was planning on doing a mastectomy. I was looking forward to it even. I have a vlog of me talking about the perks of my mastectomy. I was hardcore into it. And then my intuition just spoke to me and said, "You know what, Dara, the mastectomy is not for you. You're supposed to do the lumpectomy. That's going to give you the best of all possible outcomes."
Huh.
And so I listened.
Right.
And at the end of the day, like, I'm much happier as a result of that. And then after I made that decision, I found out that I was negative for the BRCA gene, which was great. Which, by the way, I was going to do a lumpectomy even if I did have the BRCA gene. That's how much I follow my intuition. And then I found out that people who get lumpectomies have equal or better survival rates for cancer as those who get mastectomies. And so all the information together made me say, okay, lumpectomy is right.
Right. So when you talk about your intuition, what do you mean?
So, okay, a lot of people have different ideas of what intuition is, right? So you have some scientists that think it's just a culmination of all of our senses. You have some people who think it's a collective consciousness inside us. Some people who think it's just our smarter selves underneath. Some people who think it's connected to God or their higher power. For me, I'm not sure what it is. Or I may have some ideas, but at the end of the day, what the powerful aspect is for me is it represents the source of knowledge and courage and calm that exists within me. Right. And what I've been able to do is focus in on intuition. And so I now listen to that intuition more than my head, more than even my heart. It's like a gut instinct, right? Or an intuition that can guide me to the best of all possible outcomes. And when I heard my intuition saying lumpectomy, then I was a little sad. I was excited for the double mastectomy. Yeah, but at the end of the day, I trust my intuition now.
Right.
Yeah.
What are some of the other ways that your intuition has shown up in your life and helped you do things differently?
Well, so for example, I left a great job where I thought I was doing great work in the world to go start a global initiative, and that's a scary idea. But it wound up making me feel like I had a greater sense of purpose in the world. It was one of the best decisions I've ever made, and I left everything in New York, and I sold it all off to move into my car and go cross country and stay with friends and family, and that was so powerful and led to the best 9 months of my life, and it was so freeing. The sense of freedom I have, the sense of purpose I have now is so much more deep, than I've ever had in my life. I feel like I'm living my dream, right? I feel like I've been able to live my dream because I've had the courage and the wisdom to follow my intuition and to do these things, whereas otherwise I probably would have been too scared, or that I was going to screw it up.
Yeah. So how has your intuition played into your journey with cancer?
So, okay, cancer's pretty hardcore. You have to face this life or death sort of realities in your face. Right. And I just I have to say, I check in with my intuition all the time, and it's just allowed me to take the path and take the steps and make the decisions that I need to that I know that I'm going to have the best of all possible outcomes. And it's allowed me to have this sense of calm that has given me this ability to stay positive through the cancer, right? And to really focus on all the good things that's coming my way, because I feel like I'm making all the possible best decisions, and I'm trusting. I can trust now that it's all going to be okay. Yeah. No matter which way it goes, it's all going to be okay. And I only feel good about that because I've learned to trust my intuition, and it's great.
Sounds like it's a good counter for fear.
Yeah. I there's so much potential fear and pain, involved with going through cancer, and I feel like, look, it's still there. I'm gonna admit it. There's some days where it's really hard, but those days are much fewer and farther between, because I have this trust, and I have this confidence, and I have this calmness. Thank the universe for this calmness that's allowed me to be able to have fun, do these vlogs, be ridiculous.
So I have one more question.
Yeah.
What would you suggest for people who are interested in exploring their intuition, who haven't before?
Okay, so if you're interested in following your intuition, I am no expert, but I can tell you what my experience has been, which is the most important thing is to just find some quiet space. Whether it be, if you meditate, let it be through meditation. If you like to run, it can be through running. Maybe it's just shutting off the lights in your office space and just trying to clear your head, breathe, clear your head, and get rid of all those voices in your head, Get rid of the voices of what your mom is telling you to do, of what your partner or your boss or your friends or what you think you're supposed to do, and just try to shut all those voices down and listen to that voice underneath. It's a calm voice. It's a wise voice. And see what that voice is guiding you to do. Ask it a question and see what that voice guides you to do, and then do a little trial by error. Try following that voice, and maybe it'll be different than your logic, than your head, and see what happens if you follow that voice. If it leads to good things, then maybe that's your intuition speaking to you. If it doesn't lead to good things, or maybe it's not your intuition. Also trusting your feelings a little bit more. I'm not much of an emotional person. I've been heady my whole life, but I've learned to shut off my head and to trust my feelings and to feel my feelings. And so if I feel something literally pulling me, this invisible pull, then I know that that's my intuition leading me to it. So, trust your feelings a little bit and go with it, and try to give space for that little voice and those feelings that are outside of the craziness in your head, and see what happens. And let me know how it goes. I'm curious.
That sounds great.
Yeah.
Nice.
Well, thanks for the interview.
You're welcome.
And thanks for listening.
Yay.
Yay.